Hello and welcome. Thanks everyone. This is Michelle. I'm so glad you could stop by, where I'm going to share with you today this cute little treat box that I made using the Over the Moon stamp set. Perfectly fits a cowtails treat inside. So we're going to jump into that. But before we do, I just want to remind you, my channel is all about giving you inspiration on how you use your paper, stamp, and ink to create great projects. If you haven't taken a moment to subscribe, go ahead and hit that button down below so you don't miss out on future projects. All right, so let's get into what we need to make this project. Let me go ahead and open this up and show you. We've got a little belly band on here that comes off and opens up, and you've got a little cowtails treat in there. So isn't that fun? Let's set this one off to the side, and we're going to make another one together. So obviously I'm going to need my Over the Moon stamp set, and for this one I chose to use this cow. You could use any of them that you enjoyed. I felt this was a good fit. And then I'm using the You're Utterly Fantastic sentiment from there, but I just think this set is adorable. It's got all these fun sentiments, and so many people really love cows, and I think they're cute, so I hope you guys do too. For the paper, I have some early espresso that I've brought out. This is 3.5 by 8.5, so you could actually get 2 of these from one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. We're going to use the rest of the parts from that 11-inch side to do some of our other little pieces that we need, such as this circle punch that I used from the large Starburst. And then I used the 2-inch circle out of Whisper White to do our stamping of our image. I have these pieces from the Come Together DSP that is in the holiday catalog. I love this plaid pattern. I thought it was fun and great for fall. I'm going to give this as a Thanksgiving treat, and I just love these little pieces. They are just under 3/4, so they're 5/8 of an inch. So if you take your 3/4 mark, go too little. If you've got 16th inch, go too shy of that, and you will hit the right mark. And then they are 6 7/8 inch long. We have this again, 3.5 or by 8.5, and then I've got a little 3/4 inch by 3.5 inch piece that's going to be used for our belly band, and then a scrap of Whisper White for the sentiment. For my color, I am using soft suede for the stamping, and then I'm going to be using some blends and some of the Stampin' Write markers to do my coloring. I have my crumb cake in light and dark. I have my ivory, those are in the blends, and then I have Blushing Bride and Early Espresso in the markers. May or may not need this one, it depends on if we get a hoof in there, so we'll go ahead and keep that available just in case. And then I've got some tear and tape. Of course I've got my Tombow Mono, but I brought in some tear and tape, and well, I've done most of the punching. I've got our classic label punch for when we stamp our sentiment. All right, let's go ahead and get started making this box. Now I'm going to bring in our scoreboard. We're going to do a little scoring, and these come together actually very quickly. So let me get that where you can see the measurements here. So I'm going to score this at 3/4 all the way down, 1.5, 2 1/4, and 3 inches. And then I'm going to rotate this, and I am going to score this at 3/4, and I'm going to rotate it around to the other side and score again at 3/4. And that is all the scoring we have to do. So let's move this out of the way, and we'll do a little bit of trimming. So first off, I'm going to get, we've got this one smaller panel here. It's only 1/2 inch, not 3/4. We're going to cut that one and the next one up. So we're going to cut these two rectangles off. We're going to do that on both sides. And if you need to flip it over, sometimes one side or the other is a little bit easier to see your score lines. So cut wherever, flip over to whichever one you need to have, and we do want to get rid of that score line so that this will fold over appropriately. Now we're going to cut on both of these lines just down to that score line. These are going to create our tabs, and I'm going to come and miter in these edges slightly. There's no exact measurement on that. We're just getting rid of a little bit of that bulk so that this is going to slide in easier. So we're going to have this middle one is going to be a full panel, and then we're going to have these two panels that have the piece trimmed off. Let's go ahead and do that with the other side. And cut straight down, and then come back and miter those corners. And now we're ready to start assembling. You can put your strips on before or after, it's up to you, but we only are going to do 3 of them, so might be easier to put them on after. And give these all a little fold, and this box is going to come together like this. I did not cut a piece for the bottom of the box. I'm just going to do the front, the top, and the back sides. So, because that other one we're not really going to see when it's sitting down. So, if you do want to put your designer series paper on beforehand, just maybe do a little bit of folding. Keep in mind, go, okay, this is the one I don't want to do. So you're going to do the first one in, and then skip one and do the next 2 if you have that small tab to the top. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on these, and we've cut these down so we get just a slight little border there. And again, I like my Tombow glue, my liquid glue, because it allows me to just set that down and shift it slightly. I find it's much faster for me to do it that way as well, because I don't have to spend quite as much time sitting there and lining it all up. And we're going to finish off with this last piece here. Now, to do the tabs on the side, you could use your tear and tape, or you could use your liquid glue. Because this is the full panel, I want that one to be on the outside, and these two are going to fold in. So I'm going to put my tear and tape. I want to make sure that I am putting it on the outside part of these 2 smaller tabs. If you go over a little bit, that's okay. We can always fold that in on itself once we take that backing off. And this tear and tape, if you have not used it, is so easy to use because you literally just tear it off. It's quick and easy. I like to use this if I need a faster hold. That liquid glue is going to give you a nice strong hold, but it's going to take just a moment to set. And I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. Instead of fiddling around with trying to get this little piece off. There we go. Let's go ahead and tear these 2, or take these 2 off, and we'll put this box together. I know I don't usually do a lot of coloring with you guys on camera, but I thought these cows are pretty quick and easy, so we'll go ahead and do that coloring together. And go ahead and hear that one. And then I'm going to adhere this one. I want to give that a nice good fold so it's going to sit up straight for me. And we are going to put a belly band around that too, so that's going to help hold that in place nicely. And there we have our box, and it is the perfect size for one of these full-size cowtails. Slide that in there. Oops. Put it where you can see it properly when you open it up. Little detail, but one of those things that'll bother me if I don't get it in there in the right direction. There we go. There's a little box. Let's go ahead and do that belly band. And for my belly band, I am not going to measure it as far as where I'm scoring. Instead, I'm just going to do a little bit of finger folding. And I think I want to cut that down because I started my fold a little too far over, so I don't want that much extra overlap. And I'm going to come in here and put a piece of that tear and tape down. Take the backing off. And I'm just going to fold that over. Now for stamping coloring, I'm going to use the soft suede for my cow image. And I'm not going to get the whole thing on there, and that's okay. We don't need all of it. We're just going to stamp them right up there, and then let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment piece while I have that out. And that way we can put our ink away. This classic label punch is one of my favorite punches to have available for sentiments. There's so many in the catalog that fit just perfectly in that space. We're going to do one more thing, actually, before I put that ink away. Because I am not matting this piece, I want to just give it a little color on the edges to help it pop off of that paper. So I'm just tapping that gently. You don't have to use a lot of force. And I'm just getting all of those edges, and it gives it just that little bit of color that's going to help it distinguish it from the designer series paper, or from the, in this case, the sentiment or the image piece that is back there. So that's just a quick and easy little tip. We're going to start with our ivory. I'm going to use the brush side, and I'm going to just color in the, I don't know what you call this part of the face. If anybody knows, let me know. Make a comment below. And we're just going to color that in with the ivory. You can have a lot of fun. You don't have to make these the colors that the animals really are. You know, play with it. Make some wild colors. You can make a pink and purple cow if you want to. It's all about creating and having fun. But in this case, I wanted to go with a little bit more of traditional colors. So I'm using that dark crumb cake to color in the spots. And then I'm also going to use that to color in this little bit of hair up there. Makes me think of a little Elvis with that hair. And then we're going to come in with the light crumb cake and color in the rest of the body. And we could do a lot of shading with these, but this is a fairly small piece, so I'm not going to worry about getting some highlights and lowlights. I'm just going for quick coverage, but if you want to, you can definitely do some shading in there. That's what I love about these blends. They really do blend so easily together. And then let's just come in, and I'm going to use the pointed nib here, and I'm going to color in the nostrils and put a little bit of pink right there in the ears. And that's all there is to that coloring. And we are just about done. I'm going to put my image onto my starburst piece. We're going to adhere that directly to our belly band. You could, if you wanted to, let's do this one a little different. Go this way with this little cow, and the box will be presented that direction. And then I'm going to use some of my Stampin' Dimensionals, and this is what I like to use the edges of my dimensionals for. These longer sentiments, they're great for that. I'm just going to put a strip down the back there. Pull this up. And I am going to cover up that little bit of an ink blotch that I got there. You guys probably saw that and we're going, oh no! She got some ink on there. Guess what we're just gonna hide that with our sentiment. How about that? You're utterly fantastic, and that can still slide off, but the sentiment piece will stay right there. So there is our fun little cowtails thank you gift. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already done so. Give me a thumbs up if you like my video. Drop me a comment below if you've got any questions, or let me know, do you like cows or do you like the pigs? We've got a pig stamp set too that's really cute, which I think I might be needing to pick up here soon and have a whole suite of little animals. So enjoy, and until we meet again, make sure you grab your paper, stamp, and ink, have some fun, and get creating.